Okay, Math 7, here we go. This is an audio recording and video of the lesson that you are going to be learning today. You need to have your notebook out, you need to have a pencil ready, because everything that I say and write down, you are going to copy into your notebook as well. The other way this works is if I give you a problem and I might say pause the recording, I want you to actually pause, try the problem, and then move on. If you don't, you're not really going to get anything if you just sit back and watch this. So make sure you're ready to go, make sure you've got that pencil ready, make sure that pencil is sharp, and let's get going. The concept that we are going to be talking about today is the concept of slope. Now, most people, when they hear the word slope, kind of think of the same thing, and they kind of think of a mountain and how steep a mountain is. Personally, I've recently started hiking, and oh my gosh, I can definitely tell you the difference in slopes now. Some slopes are easy to go up, and some you just want to turn around and go right back down. But when I'm back on Thursday, you're going to have to ask me about my ski story. So you might want to write down, remind about ski story. So when we talk about slope, we've actually, in a respect, already done this. But when we talk about the slope, and let's look at a graph. Let's look at this. We look at a line, and that's what we're kind of talking about, is the slope of that particular line. And when we talk about slope, we're always looking at the same thing. We're looking at how far does the slope go up. Oops. Hold on one second, don't want to make an arrowhead there. But how far it goes up, which we're going to call the rise, and how far it goes across, which we're going to call the run. So when we talk about the slope, we're talking about what we call the rise over the run. And that's what the slope is equal to. Now, there's a couple of ways we could find that, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. So, we can find this rise over the run in many ways. For example, if I was to give you this graph, and let's mark these off here, we'll keep this very simple, and we'll mark off this point here, and let's mark off this point here. And let's say we have a line that goes between those 2 points. By the way, this is the point 1, 1, and this is the point 4, 2. Want to make sure we get that right. So if we are looking at this, and the object is to figure out the rise over the run. In other words, if I was to draw the rise and the run, I want to know how far up and how far across it went. So for example, if I start with the rise, how far up did that go? Well, you'll notice, and I'm going to write over here slope equals, you'll notice that the rise went up this much. Well, that is a rise of 1. So we're going to make that a 1. The run is how far over it went, which in this case would be 1, 2, 3. So the run is 3. That's the run. So what you have there now is a slope of 1/3. It's the rise over the run. Now, if you think about this in a way, let's look at that a little bit closer. We started with the rise, which was 1. And we found that that was this here. Now, if you notice that it's going from the level, the 2, to the 1, or the 1 up to the 2. Well, there's the 2, there's a 1, and if I subtract that, 2 minus 1, that gave me the 1. If we look at the run went from the 1 to the 4. From the 1 to the 4. And if you think about it, it was 4, we could say maybe 4 minus 1 gave us 3. And that's how we can do, again, we can figure out slope. So if we think about what I just did, I did the slope was 2 minus 1 over 4 minus 1, which is nothing more than the way the y changes and the way the x changes. So what we can say is that the slope is actually equal to the change in y, so how the y values change, over the change in x. Now, we actually have a better way of doing that, an easier way of doing it. Matter of fact, we have a formula we can do it for. And so let's look at that algebraic formula for a second. And we don't always like to write the word slope out, so we're going to use an abbreviation. And as an abbreviation, the word slope, well, we're going to abbreviate it with a, yeah, no, it's not an S. We're actually going to abbreviate it with a M. No, that doesn't stand for mountain. It actually comes from the Latin word for slope, and so anyways, we use M. And then we're going to do something unique. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say this is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now I will explain what those are. This is given, spell given, right? Given 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. Now, don't be so concerned about the 1s here and the 2s here. They actually don't mean anything, except for that this is the first x, this is the first y, this is the second x, and this is the second y. That's all it means. They're identifiers, they're numerical orders. Nothing spectacular, just identifier. They're actually called subscripts versus an exponent, which would be a superscript. Now, if I was going to use this in a problem, if I gave you 2 ordered pairs, and let's say I gave you the point, I don't know, 3, 2, and let's do 7, 9. And I said, find the slope. Excuse me. So what you would want to do is the first thing that I actually do is I label my points. I identify them. Which one of those points is x1, y1, and which one is x2, y2. In reality, it doesn't matter, but we're going to call this x1, y1, and call this x2, y2. So the slope then, we know is, in the formula I'm going to write it down again, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Well, we take the y sub 2, which was here, so that's a 9, minus y sub 1, which is 2, over x sub 2, which is 7, minus the x sub 1, which was 3. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. So my slope is 7/4. And you have to leave it. Remember, slope was rise over run. So we're going to leave it improper or proper. We'll never turn it to a mixed number. So let me give you one to try here. I would like you to find the slope. So we're going to say, find the slope. And I'm actually going to give you 2 pairs of points. So we'll divide our paper down for a second. I want you to do 3, 2, and 5, 9. And then I want you to do 1, 6, and 4, 15. Pause the recording. Find the slope between these two sets of points. Okay, if you did it correctly, you would have said this was x1, y1, this is x2, y2, and you would have said the slope was 9 minus 2 over 5 minus 3, which would be 7 over 2. And there's my slope for the first one. If you got 7 over 2, raise your hand. I want to see how many of you would do that. Okay, in the second one, I'll do x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to get 15 y sub 2 minus 6, which is y sub 1, over x sub 2, which is 4, minus x sub 1, which is 1. 15 minus 6 is 9 over 3. So we got 9/3. Sorry, I got disrupted, so I don't know where I left off. But I got 9/3, but that's not the final answer, because you still have to reduce your fractions. So if we do that right, 9/3 reduces down to 3 over 1. So you should have gotten 7 over 2 for your first answer and 3 over 1 for your second answer. Now, sometimes I might give you this. I might give you a chart. And I might say like boxes, which we're going to call X, and we're going to have fruit snacks, which we're going to call Y. So the table shows the number of small packs of fruit snacks Y per box X. So for example, in 3 boxes there are 12 fruit snacks. In 5 boxes there are 20 fruit snacks. Oops, 20. That should be a 20. And in 7 fruit boxes there are 28. Find the slope of the line. And what does the slope represent? So we're going to find the slope first. So to find the slope, all I really have to do is just pick any 2 of the 3 pairs of numbers. So let's say I pick 312, and I'll write as an ordered pair now, and 520. So now I can call this x1, y1, call this x2, y2, and then I could find the slope. Y sub 2, which is 20, minus y sub 1, which is 12, x sub 2, which is 5, minus x sub 1, which is 3. 20 minus 12 is 8. 5 minus 3 is 2, which gives me 4 over 1. So my slope is 4 over 1. And what that means is I have 4 fruit snacks per box. And that is the slope. All right. You are going to do, for your assignment today, you are going to work on page 77, and you're going to do numbers 1 through, let's see, oops, I think no, you're going to do 1 through 3, no, that's not it, 1 through 3, and 9 through, let's do 9 through 14. Get started on that now, and we will go over it on Thursday, and tomorrow there will be another video for you. Have a great rest of your day.